Wake up in the morning. Wake up, Atlanta. It's time for coffee. Talk presented by Spotify. Fresh vibes, real talk.
Let's get started, shall we?
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Welcome back to another exciting episode of Coffee Talk, powered and presented by Spotify. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, boy howdy. I gotta say, boy howdy, boy howdy, boy howdy. Ladies and gentlemen, it is a wonderful Wednesday. We hope that everyone's having a fantastic hump day. Ladies and gentlemen, again, this is Coffee Talk presented and powered by Spotify. And let me tell y'all something. I get very excited when we do our shows because we did announce, of course, yesterday was our new show that I'm happy to announce. I'm excited to talk about it. Playgrid Sports Podcast. That is the official sports podcast from all of us here at K.L.P Entertainment Filmworks. And of course, we got Rachel and Cera, myself and Dave, along with Marcus, will be on the show for the next few shows that rather. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, thank y'all so very much. That show is powered and presented by Amazon Music. I'm really excited for these shows, guys. Let me just tell you, these shows are quite amazing. Besides Coffee Talk, because I try to keep Coffee Talk to about 40 to 50 minutes when it comes down to the Lucas Tribune podcast, One Big Question podcast, and Playgrid Sports podcast. Those podcasts are like 15 to 20 minutes. We try to keep those short. And then for our Green Show, and I'm excited to say because we got a show from Spotify. We've got What Happened Was, that's from iHeart. And now we've got Amazon Music. They're going to be sponsoring another show of ours. So I like it. I like the diversion. I like the divided of our shows. You know, we've got the Red Show. And I'm going to break it down into colors. The Red Show, because iHeart Media's logo and their scheme is red. That's What Happened Was with me and Evelyn. You got us being the Green Show, Coffee Talk presented by Spotify because the Spotify logo is green. And then you got Playgrid Sports, that is the Blue Show because Amazon Music, their logos are white and blue, or more of a cyan but blue color. So I get very excited for our shows, ladies and gentlemen. I got to say, I think I'm finally getting my flow back. I think I'm finally getting my creativity back. I think I'm starting to get back into why I do podcasting, in the first place. And it's simply because I just enjoy talking, not just on a mic, but here in the radio stations. I like to just give content and just to continue just the content creating game because that's just the game that we're in. Um, I'm very happy about it. I'm so thankful for everybody that is just tuned into our content, everybody that's tuned into our shows. We hope that we give you guys just some entertainment. The reason why we do a lot of shows because as of late, not only on my personal social medias, but everybody's like Swanky 93.3, the radio station's Instagram and social media, and the Heat's 94.6 radio station. Those are the two stations that we pull our shows to. They've been getting a lot of viewership, a lot of views, a lot of likes, a lot of impressions, a lot of eyes on our content. So that's why we go hard when it comes down to our shows. And I hope that you guys love the shows that we are producing out. It allows me to be back in my creative side. I've learned to step I learned to take some time off when I need to, but I don't think I'm doing a crash out. I don't believe that I'm in a burnout. I think I'm just the top of the game of just constantly creating, constantly podcasting because this is just something that is my first love. I remember you know, back in 2015, I think is when we started podcasting. And in 2025, we celebrated 10 years of podcasting for me. I never stopped podcasting. Sometimes, yes, I do have to take a moment. I have to breathe. I have to take some time off. But when I get back into it, guys, I get back into it. So we hope that you guys like Playgrid Sports Podcast presented by Amazon Music. That show is spectacular. Again, we're limiting those shows to about 15, 20 minutes. We're not going to go an hour with those type of shows. But, me and Dave, we talked about the MLB season opening. The MLB season is starting to kick back up. And me and Dave, shout out to Dave, because we just got that chemistry. We work better on the radio scenes and the radio show. So I get very involved with that. I'm very happy by that. What happened was with me and Evelyn, New episode came out on Monday. Go check us out. And if you're tuning in just now, Coffee Talk presented by Spotify. Now, no, Spotify is presenting our show, but we did get the green light to talk about this because even though this show's on Spotify where it's presenting, it's also on other platforms because that was kind of one of the deals with Spotify. With all of our heart and Amazon, it's like, yeah, we'll give you the name, but like the show has to go everywhere because everybody may not have Spotify. Some people have Apple Podcasts. And as I talk about Apple Podcasts, we hope that everyone has updated their phone to iOS 26.4. That update is available right now on your phones, on your iPads, on your MacBook. So the reason why we say that is because now our shows, Coffee Talk, Play Grid Sports, What Had Happened Was podcast. All the shows that are video versions of our podcast is now available on Apple Podcasts for the video version. I am so excited about their update. Again, if you open the Apple Podcast app that comes free with your phone, really, if you got your iPhone, you're just now turning on iPhone, you got the Apple Podcast app automatically on there. You click it, and now you are able to watch our video versions of our podcast. I gotta say kudos to Apple Podcasts. I am happy that they're doing that. I hope iHeartRadio is coming up next with their video podcast conversion. Spotify's been doing it. They've been doing the video version of the podcast for a while now. So Apple's catching on. iHeart Radio. I hope they catch on. And honestly, I'm gonna say it. I hope Amazon Music catches on to what Spotify and Apple is doing when it comes down to us podcasters that film our podcast. We do a video version of it. So very, very excited for that. I'm blessed and highly favored with this content creating bag. And let me tell you guys something. It's just the beginning. First and foremost, this is just the beginning when it comes down to content creating, when it comes down to it. Now, I do have a little bit of a small news announcement regarding all of the podcasting that we got going on for next week. And I think we kind of announced it. We already talked about it on What Happened Was podcast on Monday. I didn't talk about it on Play Grid Sports yesterday because that's our sports show. I don't really want to talk about my personals on that show. But Coffee Talk is one of the shows like I like to talk personal. Um, and this is kind of like a kind of a up in the air kind of thing. If you guys can't tell, I've got this shirt on. The shirt's a little wrinkled because it's been in a box, right? Uh, I'm moving. I'm very, very excited for my big move. I'm moving to a different house. Won't tell you the location or anything like that, but I am moving and it's going to require a lot more of my time when it comes down to moving. So I do want to say to a lot of people that like the content and is hoping for content next week, it's kind of up in the air. I think what I want to do, and I hate to do this to you guys, and maybe we'll do Play Grid Sports next week. Um, because that's an easy show to produce. I think next week of Monday, Tuesday, and leading up to the first being April, I think we're going to shut down K.L.P Entertainment just for those 3 days. Because I have to spend time moving, right? And moving takes a lot, right? I'm moving house to another house. So it's a lot of moving by the grace of God, and I'm blessed and highly favored with this new journey. I hired movers, right? I hired movers because I'm bougie, I guess. I'm not. I moved to the current house that I live in, and it took me about 4 days to move because I moved by myself. I told myself when I move again, I'm not doing that ever again. I'm going to hire movers, and I stuck with it. I hired movers. They are all set and paid up and ready to go. Um, so that my move is going to be really quick. So I'm hoping, to be honest with you, moving house to house. I don't have a whole lot of stuff in my house, so I think this move is going to be quick. I think I'm hoping my move takes a day. I really do because that's just one of the things. Like it's exciting to move because I'm moving to a different location, a different vibe, a different home, a different environment. I'm switching things up, and I'm really excited for that part. But boy, howdy, I hate the moving process. I really do. It takes too long. There's a lot of work and it's a lot of things to do when I could be doing other things. So, I will say that I will say just as I say that just to say I don't know if I'm going to be able to give you guys content for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I think those 3 days we're going to focus on Play Grid Sports because that's an easy, quick show to produce. And what happened was with me and Evelyn because those shows are typically sometimes pre-recorded, so we have a pre-recorded episode coming for you guys next week. The reason why we do that is because I am moving, so we had to get focused on that. And I do want to say I think maybe maybe I'll come in the studio maybe Thursday, Friday of next week. Maybe Saturday, Sunday, we're shutting it down again because I just have to get my new house in order. I've got to get things turned on. I've got to get my furniture right. I've got to get things placed. So maybe this will be a week next week where I take the week off, focus on the move, give you guys the content that we already recorded, and just take it one step at a time. Or maybe I might surprise you guys and be fully back. I don't know what it looks like. It's just, it just depends on how fast I can get things moved. I'm very, very excited for that move. That, it's different. It's a new journey. And it's a new journey because it's, a new place, a new home. And if you guys know, I'm turning 30 next month. So that next month I'll be going on vacation. And, it's just one of those things that I get very, very excited for. I'm going to Cancun. It's going to be very fantastic. I'm praying that the airport would do right by my vacation time because we all know the airport's just kind of going through some crazy things right now. So I hope I hope I'm not waiting at the airport for 8 hours because of TSA and ICE and all of that. I won't talk about it. I know my producer said, did I want to talk about it on the show? I absolutely do not want to talk about it. I don't want to, I think what I want to steer away from on all of our shows going forward is the politics. When it comes down to it, I just don't think it's just that interesting. I don't think that's our niche. That's not our target audience. Definitely don't talk about it on Play Grid Sports. Me and Evelyn, we when we go through our script, there are some political news that come out, and even Evelyn says, "Hey, I don't really want to talk about it, Kennedy." So I'm just kind of staying away from politics. It's just a Debbie Downer. Everybody's upset about the politics game that's going on in the world right now. So I just don't want to I don't want to have our fan base that our audience that are listening have such a negative space because of it. So we're just gonna kind of avoid all of that stuff. So let's get on to it. I've got some great topics and I have a great story to tell as well. Of course, the first thing I want to talk about, this is a little bit related to gaming related news, and it has been said that Red Dead Redemption 3 has reportedly entered pre-production. Um, I'm really, really excited for this. I do hope that this is true. Red Dead Redemption trilogy. I think they're gonna bring up all the stops with Red Dead 3, right? Because you got the new consoles, right? The current consoles, may I add, the Xbox latest console, PlayStation 5 is coming out. Um, do I think Red Dead Redemption will have more of a PlayStation 6 release? Yes, and let me tell you why. Because they're not gonna poke out Red Dead Redemption next year when you got GTA 6 getting ready to come out this year, right? And that's owned by Rockstar, right? They're gonna take their time when it comes down to Red Dead Redemption 3. I wouldn't be surprised if they say 2029 for Red Dead Redemption 3. I'm just gonna say it because they're still making a lot of money from Red Dead Redemption number one because they remastered for PlayStation 5. I bought a copy, it's amazing. I can't wait until they remaster Red Dead Redemption 2 for PlayStation 5 with the 60 frames per seconds. Um, HDR, ray tracing. I'm sure they're working on that now, right? That's why I say Red Dead Redemption 3. That game's not going to be out maybe to 2029. Hell, I'll even say maybe 2030, right? That's just because GTA 6, they're gonna ride that train for years, right? Now, I knock on wood here because I hope that GTA 6 doesn't have any delays when it comes down to it, ladies and gentlemen. I don't want delay for GTA 6. Hopefully it comes out in November this year because again, I'll be in my new place. I'll be rocking it. I'll be blasting in my house, my new home with GTA 6 gameplay is going to be amazing. Can't wait for this November. Excuse me. I get very excited for this because of the storytelling, right? I like being able to John Marston, right? You get to play John Marston. I forgot the other character's name, the main character you play in Red Dead Redemption 2. I think This is going to be interesting because it's Western games to me are always fun, right? It's always fun when you play a Western game. It's always fun when you are portraying something of art, right? And with GTA 6, sometimes they're cinematic, right? I think Red Dead 1 and 2, they've been very cinematic when it comes down to the story mode, right? I think there's a lot of story that's left in Red Dead. I'm really interested to see what time period they're going to be in. I'm sure they're not going to go backwards. I think they're going more forward with the time period. Um, I can't wait to see what that looks like. I hope they stick to old Western traditions because that's just what makes the game different. Because you don't want to make Red Dead 3 so modern that it competes with GTA, right? GTA 6, that is the modern today's age game where you got the cars, the house, the characters. Red Dead, you got Western, you got guns, you got horses, you got cattle, you got a farm, right? So I hope they stick to those two separate games, even though they're both owned by Rockstar Games. Keep those things separate. And that's one thing that I get very, very excited for. I'm here for it. I like the idea of their continue on this trilogy. I think they're going to make a lot of money, like they will GTA 6. I I don't think we're going to see this in 2027. We probably ain't going to see it in 2028. Maybe 2029. Most definitely 2030. Right. We won't see it very, very soon, but it's good to see that is in early production. And these games now, let me tell you, video game making is taking game companies longer and longer and longer to produce these video games. It takes them years and years and years and years nowadays to make a game. And I don't shame them for it because I'm that type of gamer that I always say to any video game company, I say, take your time. If you got to delay a game and delay a game, don't delay it too much. But if you got to delay a game, delay a game, delay a game, you cooking up on it because you're going to charge us $70. And hell, by the way this economy is going, not trying to get political, I hope these games are not $90. But we're just in a crazy world right now. Games are $70 right now. $70 a pop to buy a brand new span new video game. So, and even with the deluxe and all the extra shit they try to sell you, it's $119, right? I think I saw, what did I see? I saw a new game that's getting ready to come out. I want to say it was, I don't know if it was Wolverine or not, but there was a brand new game that's a big game. I can't remember which game it was. And they had like the deluxe, ultra deluxe combo for $120. That's wild to me. That's a couple bills. But some people will pay it. I just, I'll stick to the regular $70. But it's good to see Red Dead. They're in production when it comes down to it. I look forward to it. Um, I do want to send a rest in peace on the podcast. Um, this story is my sources is from World Star with this story. Uh, Very, very interesting when it comes down to it. A lot of people had some comments about this. OnlyFans owner Leonid Revitsky dies of cancer at the age of 43. Now, let me just say, I will say it, and I think I've talked about it before in this podcast. And Hope, correct me if I'm wrong on this. I don't shame people for doing OnlyFans. Matter of fact, I think I did it in last week's episode because I was talking about gym influencers. That's why I was talking about OnlyFans. I don't shame people for doing OnlyFans. I don't. Will I do OnlyFans? Hell no. Because as a CEO, as a technician, as an audio engineer, I've got too much to lose if I start doing OnlyFans. Right? I got too much to lose. I don't want to say respect because again, I don't judge people. I'm not the person to be judging people of anything because I've done some things that are judgeable, right? I've read these comments and these comments have been blowing up when it comes down to it. First and foremost, I want to say for this young man, I do say young man, I'm way younger than him. 43 is that's very young, right? That's very young to die of cancer. Um, I think we have to treasure each other each and every day because tomorrow's not promised to anybody, right? So that's why I say in my prayer that I'm thankful that I'm not sick. I'm thankful that I'm not facing any types of cancers, right? I'm so grateful and gracious for that because you can be gone just like that. I don't judge people for doing OnlyFans. And Mr. Radvinsky, although it's lust, he made a business that make multi-millions. I will say that. I will give him that. I don't encourage people to do OnlyFans because I feel that ladies and men do OnlyFans too, but I've seen more of ladies do OnlyFans. I think ladies have more value than just OnlyFans. You could be smart and you could be going for an actual career that means something and you're not getting shrugged wrong from other people. Not me, because again, I don't judge. There are some young ladies that make millions upon millions on OnlyFans. I can't knock that hustle, right? Because there are some young ladies that have made millions and verified that made millions, and I haven't became a millionaire yet because I'm manifesting. I'm not a millionaire yet. So I can't knock that hustle. Now, for the ladies who do OnlyFans, you are not me because I don't judge. Just what I hear on the streets. You are clarified as a bop, a whore, a hoe, right? I'm not calling you that, but that is the expectation that people are saying. You're just a cut of fuckable meat. Not me saying that. That's just what people are saying on the streets. I feel really bad. I'm sure the company is going to strive on. I saw that some of these comments of these young ladies that do OnlyFans. It was like, oh, not my boss. Oh, my boss died. I, look, I'm not laughing because it's not funny, but it's like, wow, people really tone in into the OnlyFans here. Um, some people are saying this is great news. Look, I don't think it's great news for somebody to die. I don't. Even though some people shrug their necks and they suck their teeth because it's OnlyFans. I don't wish ill will on somebody dying. I don't. Somebody said, can't even be mad at dude. If anything, be mad at the game. He played the game and it worked out in his favor. Bravo. I gotta agree with it. It's a business thing. It's a business. It's a lustful business. I don't encourage it, but it's a business. Right? Folks have to understand America is a capitalistic country. It's all about the dollar bills, y'all. That's just the way we at. Some people, some men and women do OnlyFans. I've seen ladies do. Ladies do OnlyFans to pay that rent. They got to do what they got to do. Um, and it's interesting because this is you would think that this would be classified as prostitution, but there's a workaround, right? Uh, it's crazy. America's in some interesting things. I do say on again, rest in peace. I don't wish ill will on somebody dying. Um, some people are happy about his death. Some people are sad about his death. I don't. It doesn't matter really to me which way the door swings. Hope an audience. Again, I wish she wasn't that because I don't wish ill will on someone dying and being end of life. I don't wish that on anybody. But it's very, very interesting that by him passing, this country and world is so divided. That one people are applying his death. Some people are very sad about it. Um, Again, I've learned to not judge people when it comes down to them doing OnlyFans. I don't, and I will say this too. Although I don't judge my ladies for doing OnlyFans, I don't necessarily would go for a girl who do OnlyFans because I'm a spiritual and my beliefs don't really align with that. Right. And I think I have a right. Everybody has a right to have their belief in spirituality or Christianity. I'm more of a spiritual. I just don't. I wouldn't go for a girl who does OnlyFans because that is against my moral code. Right. That's just me. Some people go for that. If that's your thing, that's your thing. That's just not necessarily my thing. Right. I would feel very uncomfortable if I had a girlfriend who did OnlyFans and her hoo hoo is out there on the internet for every guy to see. Personally, but some people fall for it. Some people do it. Um, And it's interesting because, and I only say that just for grace because, again, I am single. I think I'm starting to realize that being single is okay. I'm still looking for my woman of God, but I just feel like it's, the relationships out just played out. I'll get to that on another episode. And speaking of for the ladies, it's finally happening. It's finally happening this Thursday, the 26th. Complex and Apple Music for the ladies versus is going to be Tank versus Tyrese. Okay, first and foremost, I'm Team Tank all the way. As much as I love TGT, that's Tank, Tyrese, and Genuine. That's that, and I hope they make us another new album from them. I haven't been that much of a Tyrese fan. I like his acting, right? He's making money on his music, right? I prefer Tank over Tyrese any day. It's like if you can't even compare with Tank's catalog and Tyrese's catalog, Tank, I feel, will outboast and outwin Tyrese. Nothing personal on Tyrese because he is a great R&B singer. I just don't care too much for his songs. I prefer Tank. I think Tank is gonna lay the smackdown on Tyrese, but they're brothers. They're not gonna fight like what's the other verses we saw? I think it was Bone Thugs versus 3 6 Mafia. I think they were going against each other and they were fighting on stage. They're not gonna fight these brothers, they're brothers. They're not gonna fight on stage. They're brothers. They gonna have a grand slam time. I think this is very needed. I can't wait to see this because I will be watching it. I do think Tank is gonna whoop that ass though. Respectfully for Tyrese, Tank's gonna whoop that ass because Tank just has. I think Tank just has so many gems that are just so phenomenal that you can't outboast Tank because he got his classics and he's still making music. He talking about the R&B album. I'm after that I'm done. I'm retiring. No, he's not done. He's not done. Tank's not done. He's gonna come back. I'm a firm believer he's coming back. He's too young for him to say, "Oh, I'm tired." No, you ain't tired, right? I'm very very excited for this. Again, I'm a big Tank fan. If anybody asks me, because everybody asks me who's my favorite R&B artist, it has to be from the male side. It has to be Tank, right? Hands down, Tank. I do like TGT, right? Tank, Genuine, and Tyrese. Their band their group that they form. Again, I hope we see Three Kings 2. I really, really do. In the future, I think it's needed. I think they're gonna make a lot of money. Tank, Tyrese, Genuine. If you're watching the podcast, let's make Three Kings Part 2 because we need it. Um, but it's going to be good. It's going to be a good versus. It's going to be a great time. I think they're really and their title here from Complex and Apple Music is for the ladies, so I think they're catering for the ladies. Um, that's their market, right? I'm sure Tank and Tyrese. They're going to be performing their songs and they're going to be taking their shirts off. They're going to be both swole. Tank probably going to caress the mic and stroke the mic, right? Tank does that every time he's performing at a concert. He's going to have his shirt off and he's going to do this number here. He's going to do all of that. He's going to do all of that. I can guarantee you Tank is going to be sexualized for this versus. And it works for the ladies because ladies are going to be hooting and hollering and some ladies going to be wet that night. Not trying to get gross. I'm trying to entertain you guys. Ladies going to be wet that night. They're going to be wet. Panties going to be wet when you see Tank and Tyrese. But it's the market, right? They're going to make some money. That is the market that they're in for them to make money is to how can we get these ladies excited? How can we get these ladies hooting and hollering? How can we make them wet? And how can we make a good buck? A versus. And I'm here for it. I'm here for it. Congratulations to Tank. Congratulations to Tyrese. I can't wait to see what happens when it comes down to it. It's going to be extraordinary. And I'm here for it. I'm so here for that. So we're going to turn it over to Hope, Rachel, and Cera. And of course, Marcus with more gaming news here on the podcast of Coffee Talk, powered and presented by Spotify. And I'll be back to close us out for the show. Stay tuned.
Wake up, y'all! It is now time for the front page news of the day on Coffee Talk presented by Spotify. Yeah!
Good morning, everyone. Here's our front page news on Coffee Talk presented by Spotify. Okay, so here's something to think about. Jay-Z is one of the few people who can say they've been at the top of the music industry for decades, built a billion-dollar empire, and still have people hanging on their every word. But what happens when the man who's done it all starts questioning what's next?
That's a great way to frame it, because his recent GQ interview really dives into that exact question. He's reflecting on his legacy, his wealth, and even his creative process. It's like he's at this crossroads, and honestly, it's fascinating to see someone like Jay-Z wrestle with these ideas.
Right, and let's start with the part that's been making the most noise. His unapologetic stance on being a billionaire. He didn't hold back at all, did he?
Not even a little. He flat out said, "I don't give a fuck what you say," and laughed about it. That's classic Jay-Z, confident, unbothered, and completely owning his success. But what stood out to me was how he framed the criticism of billionaires. He wasn't just brushing it off, he was making a larger point about systemic issues.
Exactly. He said people focus on demonizing billionaires without addressing the systems that create inequality in the first place. It's like he's saying, don't hate the player, hate the game. And honestly, that's a pretty compelling argument.
It really is. He even said that money doesn't inherently make someone good or bad. It just amplifies who they already are. So if someone's going to act selfishly or irresponsibly, they would have done that, whether they had $1 billion or not.
And that's such a nuanced take, but it's also controversial. There's a lot of debate about whether billionaires should even exist in a world where so many people are struggling. And Jay-Z defending the billionaire class, that's bound to ruffle some feathers.
For sure. But I think what he's really saying is that the focus shouldn't just be on individual wealth. It should be on fixing the root causes of inequality. He's not saying leave billionaires alone, but rather, let's address the bigger picture.
That's fair. And it's interesting because Jay-Z himself is such a product of that system. He came from nothing and built this empire through sheer talent and business savvy. He's the ultimate rags to riches story. But now he's at the top, and people are questioning whether he's part of the problem.
It's a tough position to be in. On one hand, he's a symbol of what's possible. On the other hand, his success highlights the very inequalities that make stories like his so rare. It's a paradox, really.
It is. And speaking of paradoxes, let's talk about his music. He hinted at working on new material, but it sounds like he's in a bit of a creative crossroads. Did you catch that part?
Oh, definitely. He said he's not sure what a new project would look like, but he knows it has to be authentic and true to where he is right now. That's such a classic artist dilemma. Balancing personal expression with audience expectations.
And he's so self-aware about it. He even admitted that trying to create something people like can be a trap for artists. He said, people can feel that because it's not authentic. That's such a great point. Fans can always tell when something feels forced.
Absolutely. And Jay-Z's always been about authenticity. That's why his music resonates so deeply. He's not just making hits. He's telling a story, and people connect with that. But it sounds like he's feeling the weight of his legacy right now. He doesn't want to just put out another album. He wants to create something timeless.
Which makes sense, especially since he's celebrating some major milestones this year. The 30th anniversary of Reasonable Doubt and the 25th anniversary of The Blueprint. Those are two of the most iconic albums in hip-hop history. That's a lot to live up to.
No kidding. And let's not forget, he's also got those 3 concerts at Yankee Stadium this summer. That's a huge deal. It's like he's not just celebrating his past, he's reminding everyone why he's still relevant today.
It's almost like he's setting the stage for whatever comes next. But I wonder, do you think he feels pressure to top himself? Or is he at a point in his career where he's more focused on making art for himself?
That's a great question. I think it's probably a bit of both. On one hand, he's always been competitive. That's part of what's driven his success. But on the other hand, he's also evolved so much as a person. He's a father, a husband, a businessman. His priorities have shifted, and I think that's reflected in his approach to music.
Yeah, you can hear that evolution in his later albums like 444. That record was so introspective and personal. It was a departure from the bravado of his earlier work. It's like he's more interested in exploring who he is now than proving he's the best.
Exactly. And that's what makes him so compelling as an artist. He's not afraid to grow and change, even if it means taking risks, but I do think he's overthinking it a bit. He said himself that he might be stopping himself from just creating. Sometimes you just have to let go and see what happens.
That's true, and I think his fans would agree. They don't need another Reasonable Doubt or The Blueprint. They just want to hear what Jay-Z has to say right now, in this moment.
Right? And if there's one thing we know about Jay-Z, it's that when he does decide to drop something, it's going to be worth the wait. He's not the kind of artist who puts out music just for the sake of it. He's deliberate, and that's part of what makes him great.
Definitely. So, what do you make of his comments about not appearing on Clips's album? It sounds like he was tempted, but ultimately decided against it.
Yeah, that was interesting. He said he felt like he needed to focus on his own music first, which I totally get. Collaborations are great, but if you're not in the right headspace, it's better to take a step back and focus on your own work.
And it's not like he hasn't collaborated with Clips before. They've worked together in the past, so it's not like there's any bad blood. It's just about timing and priorities.
Exactly. And who knows, maybe once he gets this new project out of his system, he'll be more open to collaborations. But for now, it sounds like he's really focused on figuring out what he wants to say and how he wants to say it.
Which is probably for the best. I mean, when you're Jay-Z, every word you say carries so much weight. People dissect his lyrics like they're sacred texts. That's a lot of pressure, but it's also a testament to his influence.
No doubt. And speaking of influence, I think it's worth mentioning how much he's done outside of music. From his business ventures to his philanthropy, he's really expanded what it means to be a hip-hop artist.
Absolutely. He's not just a rapper. He's a cultural icon. And that's why interviews like this are so fascinating. And they give us a glimpse into his mindset and what drives him.
And it's clear that he's still driven, even after all these years. Whether it's music, business, or just life in general, Jay-Z is always pushing himself to be better, and that's something we can all learn from.
For sure. So, final thoughts. What do you think we can expect from Jay-Z in the future?
Honestly, I think the sky's the limit. He's already accomplished so much, but he's not done yet. Whether it's a new album, more business ventures, or something completely unexpected, I think we're going to keep seeing Jay-Z break new ground.
I couldn't agree more. Whatever he does next, you can bet the world will be watching.
Turn it up. They shoot. They score. Top of the hour sports talk on Coffee Talk. Presented by Spotify.
We back.
We don't give a fuck.
Okay, so get this. Virginia just became the first team from the first four to make it to the Sweet 16 in NCAA women's basketball history. That's not just a Cinderella story, that's rewriting the script entirely.
Oh, absolutely. And the way they did it, beating Iowa in double overtime no less, was just incredible. Kimora Johnson has been the breakout star of the tournament so far, don't you think?
Without a doubt. She's been clutch in every sense of the word, scoring 28 points in back-to-back games and hitting those critical shots in overtime. It's like she thrives under pressure. And let's not forget, Virginia had to fight through the first four and an overtime game against Georgia just to get to Iowa. Their resilience is off the charts.
That's what makes their run so special. They've had to earn every single win, and now they're up against TCU, another team that's had to grind their way to the Sweet 16. Olivia Miles has been carrying TCU with some jaw-dropping performances, hasn't she?
Oh, for sure. Her 30-20-20 stretch over 2 games is the kind of stat line you rarely see, especially in a tournament setting. And the way she stepped up in the second half and overtime against Washington, it felt like she single-handedly willed her team to victory. But you know, Virginia has that same kind of grit. It's going to be fascinating to see how these two teams match up.
It really is. And speaking of fascinating matchups, how about Kentucky's win over West Virginia? That game was so intense, and Tayani Key and Clara Strack were absolute forces in the paint. They basically out-rebounded the entire West Virginia team by themselves.
That was such a statement win for Kentucky. And what I love about this team is how they've bounced back from adversity. When Key was out earlier in the season, they struggled, but since her return, they've been a completely different team. Now they're facing Texas, and that's going to be a huge test.
Texas has been on fire lately. Madison Booker has been unstoppable. That 40-point game against Oregon was just incredible. And what's fascinating is how they've turned their three-point shooting, which was a weakness during the season, into a strength in the postseason.
It's like they've found another gear. Making 27 threes over their last 5 games at a 50% clip is no small feat, especially for a team that was last in Division 1 in three-point rate during the regular season. If they can keep that up, they're going to be tough to beat.
No doubt. But you know, Kentucky has shown they can hang with the best. They've only lost to top-tier teams like South Carolina, Vanderbilt, and Texas, and even then, some of those games were really close. I wouldn't count them out just yet.
And that's what makes this tournament so exciting. Even the top seeds aren't invincible. Just look at Iowa. They were a number 2 seed and got taken down by Virginia. And speaking of top seeds, UConn has been absolutely dominant so far. Azzy Fudd was on another level against Syracuse. Scoring 36 points, including 26 in the first half alone, is just absurd.
She's been incredible. And UConn as a whole, they're just so efficient and relentless. They've faced ACC teams 4 times this season and beaten them by an average of 34 points. Now they're up against North Carolina, and I'm curious to see if the Tar Heels can slow them down.
North Carolina has been interesting to watch. They've been relying on their sophomores, Elena Arnisalo and Lainey Grant, who have really stepped up in this tournament. Their ability to adjust their game plan, like focusing on driving to the rim against Maryland, shows a lot of maturity for such a young team.
It does, but going up against UConn is a whole different challenge. UConn has so much depth and experience. It's going to take a near perfect game from North Carolina to pull off the upset.
And then there's South Carolina, who's been just as dominant as UConn. Joyce Edwards has been a force all season, and she's showing no signs of slowing down. Their inside game is just brutal for opponents to deal with.
They're so good at playing to their strengths. Scoring 60 points in the paint against USC was just textbook South Carolina basketball. And Joyce Edwards tying Aja Wilson's record for 20-point games in a season is no small feat. She's been incredible.
She really has. But their next game against Oklahoma could be interesting. The Sooners have been leaning on Reagan Beers and Aaliyah Chavez, who've both been playing at a high level. If they can get hot, they might give South Carolina a run for their money.
That's a big if, though. South Carolina just looks so locked in right now. But you know, that's what makes this tournament so exciting. Every game feels like it could go either way. Even teams like LSU and Duke, who are facing off in the Sweet 16, have such contrasting styles that it's hard to pick a favorite.
LSU has been absolutely overwhelming their opponents. Setting the record for most 100-point games in a season is just ridiculous. But Duke's defense has been so solid. If they can force turnovers and slow LSU down, they might have a shot.
It's going to be a chess match for sure. And then there's Michigan and Louisville. Michigan's full court press has been so effective, and Olivia Olson has been a standout player for them. But Louisville has been scrappy and resilient, and Laura Ziegler has been a key part of their success.
That's another game I'm really looking forward to. Both teams have such different styles, and it's going to come down to who can impose their will on the other. It's going to be a battle.
And let's not forget about Minnesota. They've been one of the most efficient teams in the tournament, making the most of their opportunities. That buzzer beater by Amaya battle against Ole Miss was such a clutch moment.
It really was. Minnesota's ability to stay calm under pressure has been impressive. Now they're up against UCLA, who's been quietly consistent. Lauren Betts has been a key player for them. and they've been getting the job done without too much flash.
That's what makes UCLA so dangerous. They're not blowing teams out by 50 points, but they're winning convincingly. It's going to be interesting to see how they handle Minnesota's efficiency.
There are just so many intriguing matchups in this Sweet 16. It feels like every game has the potential to be a classic. I can't wait to see how it all plays out.
Me neither. This tournament has been everything we hoped for and more. The storylines, the performances, the upsets. It's what makes March Madness so special.
Absolutely, and it's not over yet. The best is yet to come, and I'm so excited to see who makes it to the Final Four.
Same here. It's going to be an incredible finish to what's already been an unforgettable tournament. Thanks for breaking it all down with me.
Always a pleasure. Let's do this again soon.
Wake up! Get up! We starting the day! Let's get into it. Our top story of the day on Coffee Talk presented by Spotify. Turn it up! Let's go!
Welcome to Gaming Forward, your weekly dive into the pulse of the video game industry. Today, we're dissecting a monumental shift at Microsoft Gaming. The company has ushered in a new era with Asha Swarma taking the helm as CEO, a move that has already sent ripples throughout the industry. Xbox Vice President Jason Ronald recently highlighted Sharma's unique approach, stating she's willing to question everything. This isn't just a catchy phrase, it signifies a deep commitment to introspection and evolution. Sharma's background is particularly intriguing, rooted firmly in artificial intelligence rather than traditional gaming. Ronald believes this fresh perspective is a distinct advantage, as she doesn't carry the biases that often develop from prolonged immersion within an industry. It's a clean slate, offering a rare opportunity to rethink established norms. Her arrival has been met with a blend of anticipation and reassurance among Xbox staff, with early indications suggesting a positive reception to her vision for the brand. This promises a fascinating journey as Xbox navigates its future under her leadership. One of Asha Sharma's most immediate and impactful decisions as the new Microsoft Gaming CEO involved a significant pivot in marketing strategy. Reports indicate that she swiftly moved to terminate the much-discussed and, at times, controversial "This is an Xbox" marketing campaign. This bold action, coming so early in her tenure, speaks volumes about her readiness to challenge existing frameworks and carve out a new identity for the brand. It signals a departure from what might have been perceived as an inward-looking approach, opting instead for a fresh narrative. But the strategic shifts don't stop there. Xbox General Manager Chris Charla revealed that Sharma articulated an ambitious goal during her initial town hall with staff. She wants Xbox to become a reference console for the entire industry. This isn't merely about selling units, it's about setting a gold standard, an aspirational benchmark that other console manufacturers might strive to emulate. This vision, Charla noted, resonated incredibly well with employees, transforming initial nervousness into widespread enthusiasm and a shared sense of purpose. It's a powerful declaration of intent for Xbox's future direction. Beyond marketing and philosophical shifts, Asha Sharma's leadership also firmly reiterates a commitment to tangible hardware innovation, specifically through Project Helix. This is crucial for an industry where physical consoles remain a cornerstone of the gaming experience. While no official release date has been set for Project Helix, the excitement within developer circles is palpable, especially with the news that alpha versions of the console are slated to begin shipping to developers in 2027. This early access is vital for studios to optimize their games for the new architecture, ensuring a robust launch lineup. The concept of Xbox becoming a reference console, as Sharma envisions, suggests that Project Helix won't just be another incremental upgrade. Instead, it implies a console designed to push boundaries in terms of performance, user experience, and perhaps even sustainable technology. We could see significant advancements in processing power, graphical fidelity, and innovative new features that genuinely set a new industry benchmark. This commitment signals that despite the growing emphasis on cloud and services, the core console experience remains central to Xbox's long-term strategy.
While new hardware like Project Helix remains a focus, Asha Sharma's vision extends significantly into the increasingly pervasive world of cloud gaming. The report underscores her commitment to making substantial investments toward a future where games aren't tethered to a single device, but rather hosted in the cloud and seamlessly beamed to any number of different devices. This is a strategic move that aligns with broader technological trends and positions Xbox at the forefront of accessible gaming. Imagine playing your favorite Xbox titles not just on a console or PC, but on smart TVs, mobile phones, or even less conventional screens, all powered by remote servers. This strategy significantly expands Xbox's potential reach, moving beyond the traditional console ecosystem. It speaks to a future where the barrier to entry for high-fidelity gaming is dramatically lowered, making gaming more ubiquitous and convenient. Sharma's AI background could be particularly instrumental here, perhaps leveraging advanced algorithms for optimizing streaming performance and user experience. This dual approach, strong hardware development alongside aggressive cloud investment, demonstrates a comprehensive strategy to dominate both traditional and emerging gaming landscapes.
Asha Sharma's decisive moves and clear articulation of her vision are poised to have a profound impact, not only on Xbox, but on the wider gaming industry. Her willingness to question everything and her outsider perspective, free from entrenched biases, could truly foster an environment of radical innovation at Microsoft Gaming. The termination of the "This is an Xbox" campaign and the push for a reference console signals a brand that is unafraid to redefine itself and its role in the market. The commitment to Project Helix ensures that hardware enthusiasts have something exciting on the horizon, while robust investment in cloud gaming prepares Xbox for a future where gaming is platform agnostic and accessible everywhere. The industry will be closely watching how Sharma balances these diverse priorities, traditional console gaming with a revolutionary cloud-first approach. Her leadership could inspire competitors to reevaluate their own strategies, potentially leading to a new wave of innovation across the entire gaming landscape. Xbox under Asha Sharma is clearly charting a bold course, aiming not just to compete, but to lead and set new standards for what gaming can be.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, everybody, our cast and crew. Ladies and gentlemen, before we close out, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe to the YouTube channel if you're watching it. And I want to say in advance, thank you guys for our Instagram and LinkedIn. If you're watching early access for our show, I thank y'all so very much for that. We work really, really hard on all of our shows, but this show as well. So if you're able to catch us on Tuesday night on Instagram and LinkedIn, thank y'all so very much. And also, if you're not catching us live, you're catching us the next following day. Thank y'all. Again, we love you guys so very much. Our audience, our viewership has been boasting and booming. To all of my Apple heads out there, if you have an iPhone like I do and your iPhone is updated to 26.4, again, that is iOS 26.4. If you have that updated, you can watch the video version of all of our shows on Apple Podcasts, as well as Spotify, iHeart, and Amazon. Hopefully they get on that train. So we thank y'all so very much in advance for that. Stay tuned because I'm coming back here for Coffee Talk presented by Spotify. Another new episode tomorrow. We thank you guys so very much. Peace, love, and respect from our entire cast and crew with Coffee Talk presented by Spotify here at Studio Latte. And we hope to catch y'all in the next episode. Until then, stay safe. Again, I'm excited because I'm tongue twisted. Stay safe, stay swanky. Peace.
We bring in good energy. This has been Coffee Talk presented by Spotify. From our cast, we thank you for listening.
Yeah.